We come around 4 R's. That is our mission. The first R is the restoration of the church to the way of Christ and his apostles. The restoration of the church to the way of Christ and his apostles. We're trying to recapture the essence of the New Testament pattern, especially that which was laid out by Paul the apostle. I'm a student of biblical theology. My focus is Pauline theology. And I'm really trying my best to make sure we facilitate teachings, movements, dialogue, and convening meetings that help reflect and restore the church back to that way. And so that's the first R. I'm the one really trying to focus on that in this movement. And then we have the second R is reconciliation. And that is reconciliation between ethnic leaders and movements. And we're seeing a lot of, we started from the beginning with a multiplicity of, a diversity of people, ethnic people and leaders, apostolic leaders. But what we're seeing now is a tremendous movement in terms of seeing the apostolic New Testament pattern being accepted in many, many different genres. So in another week and a half, I'll be a delegate speaking and helping to lead many sessions in the Lausanne Global Movement. And I'm also working with the World Evangelical Alliance, one of their leaders in biblical engagement. And there's a lot of other things that I could talk about. So we're not stuck in a small little enclave. We're really, the world is seeing that the fastest growing expression of Christianity is what scholars call the apostolic. Philip Jenkins said that in his Next Christendom book that was written in 2001, where he described the fastest growing churches are mimicking the apostolic church of the first century. And that is what's happening. And that's why many, many people, evangelical leaders, scholars, are trying to learn more about it. And that's why they're starting to ask us questions. And they're trying to bring us to the table for dialogue. And so we're excited about that. And so we have at R of reconciliation. We're seeing God reconcile his church. We believe that we're already one body. We believe the prayer of Jesus was already fulfilled because we are one body, but we're called to make an effort to keep the unity of the Spirit and the bond of peace. That's what we're called to do. Some people say, well, the prayer of Jesus is never fulfilled. There was never a prayer of Jesus that was never fulfilled, but we have to act it out and walk it out, according to Ephesians 4 and others. And then the third R is revival. And we do believe that God wants to move with spiritual awakening. We believe in fasting and prayer. We believe God wants to move in power. We believe that the answer to this country is not politics or economic strategy, although we want to infiltrate every aspect of culture as an influence, salt and light. But at the end of the day, if there isn't a move of God, if God doesn't show up in our cities, in our churches, in our families, if we're not living by the Spirit, we are going to fulfill the lust of the flesh no matter how much strategy we have. And so we do believe in fasting and prayer. We do believe that we need spiritual awakening on a regular basis and constant renewal. And Alan Hirsch tomorrow will be speaking a little bit on the permanent revolution and how we keep that constant flow of renewal taking place. And then the fourth R is reformation. We believe that if the church is really doing what it's supposed to do, it will spill over into the community. And there will be a qualitative effect that will cause something to change, that there'll be transformation, there'll be economic transformation, there'll be political, there'll be relational, there'll be a new way of depicting art, music, and entertainment. There'll be a new way of doing life. There'll be a new way of viewing family. It'll affect every aspect of culture, and cycles of poverty will be broken. So we believe, as USCAL goes forth, that we are to participate with Jesus in the renewal of all things. We can't make it happen just by politics. There's no such thing as some kind of top-down strategy that's going to automatically change the world. But we could participate with Jesus, and it doesn't come just with elections. Jesus told us in Matthew 5, before he called us the salt of the earth and the light of the world, in Matthew 5, verse 13 to 16. He first said, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. Blessed are those who mourn. That means to have empathy. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they'll be called the children of God. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. So in other words, before you are the salt and the light, there's going to be a mean process of brokenness that causes mercy, that causes empathy, that causes a sense of spiritual poverty. And I believe that Jesus was saying, in the kingdom, even if you're the poorest of the poor, you're still blessed. That's what he meant when he said, blessed are the poor in spirit, because Luke says, blessed are the poor. He doesn't say poor in spirit. So you have to bring in that category economically poor people. So what is he saying? He's not saying, I want you to be poor. What he's saying is, even if you are the poorest of the poor, I'm going to bless you. And I'm going to take you out of the doldrums, break the cycles of poverty, and use you to be salt and light. And that goes along with Isaiah 61, where he announced his ministry, his mission statement, and he said that those that he preached to, the poor, the broken, those who were oppressed, those who were blind, those who were deaf. In verse 3 of Isaiah 61 says that they're going to go and restore generations of desolation, that they're going to repair the cities. And that's what's really going to happen. If we become the church we're supposed to be, there's going to be a qualitative impact around us. And that's our fourth R. So the first R, the restoration of the church to the way of Christ and his apostles. The second R is reconciliation between ethnic leaders and movements. The third R, revival. Fourth, reformation of culture. And I believe that we're seeing champions in our movement that are actively engaged in all four stratas of society, all four R's. And we're excited that we have this convergence once a year with the Bridge Summit, and then once a year in the ICAL gathering that's going to take place the last week of October. And that should be in the handout that we gave you with upcoming events. That's the international movement that we are connected to, which has thousands of members. And it's just amazing that we're participating now in a global movement that is unprecedented in modern times. And so we're excited that we're a small piece of that in the United States, and that we're part of this gathering here today.